Hey everyone, welcome back to the English Speaking Show. I am Jake.
I am Ella, and today we have something really exciting for you.
Actually, Ella, I was thinking about today's episode this morning and I woke up and figured out I have been putting off preparing my examples.
Wait, did you hear what you just said?
What do you mean?
You used 3 phrasal verbs in one sentence.
Did I?
Woke up, figured out, putting off.
I did not even notice.
That is exactly the point.
What do you mean?
Native speakers use phrasal verbs constantly, without thinking, without noticing.
But most learners avoid them.
Because one wrong particle and the meaning changes completely.
So instead of put off, they say postpone. Instead of find out, they say discover.
And it works, but it sounds like a textbook, not like a real person.
Today, we are fixing that. 50 phrasal verbs, the ones native speakers use every single day.
By the end of this episode, you will recognize them, understand them, and actually use them.
We are going through these in 5 groups of 10.
Daily routine, relationships, work, communication, and emotions.
After each group, we show you exactly how they sound in a real conversation.
So where do we start?
With the ones you use before you even leave the house.
And I bet most viewers already use some of these without realizing.
Absolutely. Let us start with 2 that sound almost identical but mean different things.
Which 2?
Wake up and get up.
What is the difference?
You wake up the moment you stop sleeping. You get up when you actually leave the bed.
Those are very different moments in my morning.
I woke up at 6 today. I did not get up until 6:45.
I woke up at 6 and immediately wanted to go back to sleep.
Same, every single morning.
And then what? You turn on the coffee machine?
Exactly. Turn on is next. You turn on the coffee machine, the lights, the heating.
And turn off when you leave. Turn off the lights, turn off the oven.
Now, here's something important. If you use a small word like it or them, it goes in the middle.
Can you turn them off before you leave?
Turn them off, not turn off them. The small word always goes in the middle.
Same rule with put on and take off.
The clothing ones?
You put on your jacket before you leave. You take off your shoes when you get home.
I take off my shoes the second I walk through the door, every single time.
Me too. It is the best part of the day, honestly.
Absolutely the best part.
What about pick up? Because that one confused me when I first learned it.
It confused you because it has 3 completely different meanings.
Show me.
I pick up my daughter from school at 3. That is, collect someone.
She picked up Spanish in 6 months. That is, learn something casually.
Sales always pick up in spring. That is, improve.
3 meanings, 1 phrasal verb.
And you always know which one from the context.
Drop off is the opposite. When you're collecting someone, you pick them up and then drop them off.
I drop her off at school on my way to work.
Drop off also means to fall asleep. I drop off during films all the time.
Every Sunday without fail.
Every single Sunday.
What about run out of? Because I used it this morning and almost panicked.
What happened?
We ran out of coffee. I nearly did not make it here.
That is a genuine emergency.
Run out of means there is none left. We ran out of coffee. We ran out of time. We ran out of ideas.
And throw away, to put something in the bin. I threw away everything in my fridge last week. It was long overdue.
With a pronoun, I threw it away, not I threw away it. Same rule as before, small word in the middle.
Always in the middle. And then tidy up, to clean and organize a space.
She tidied up the whole flat before her parents arrived.
I need to tidy up my desk right now, actually. It is a disaster.
Same. And the last one, stay up, to not go to bed at your normal time.
I stayed up until midnight finishing something I should have done 2 days earlier.
I stayed up until 2 watching something I had already seen before.
Why do we always do that?
Genuinely no idea.
Right, let us hear all 10 in one real conversation. Jake is my flatmate. Monday morning, kitchen. Ready?
Ready.
Did you turn off the oven last night?
I think so. Actually, wait, I'm not completely sure.
I turned it off before I went to bed. Don't worry.
Sorry, I stayed up until 2 watching a film. I completely forgot.
We ran out of milk, by the way.
Already? I just picked some up on Friday.
I know. Can you grab some on your way home tonight?
Sure. Oh, can you drop me off at the station this morning? My car is still in the garage.
If you're ready in 10 minutes, I need to put on my coat and tidy up the kitchen first.
I'll throw away this packaging and I'm done.
Right. Let's go. And get up properly tomorrow. You look exhausted.
I'll try. 10 verbs, 1 conversation. All completely natural.
And the one rule to remember, small words like it, them, her, him, always go in the middle.
Turn it off. Pick her up. Throw it away. Tidy it up.
Never at the end, always in the middle.
Those were your daily routine verbs. Now the ones for the people in your life, relationships. And these 10 get much more interesting.
Relationships. And these 10 get much more interesting.
Why more interesting?
Because these are the ones that come up in real conversations about real people. Arguments, friendships, dating, recovery.
Let us start with 2 that almost always happen together in life.
Which two?
Fall out and make up.
As in, you fall out with someone and then you make up?
Exactly. You fall out when you have an argument and stop being friendly.
They fell out over money. They did not speak for 6 months.
And then you make up. You end the argument and become friends again.
They made up eventually. It just took time and a lot of patience.
I fall out with people very rarely, but when I do, it takes me a while to make up.
Same. I find it hard to just move on quickly.
What about get on with? Because that one comes up constantly.
Get on with means to have a good relationship with someone. Do you get on with your colleagues? She gets on with absolutely everyone she meets.
Warning, this one never separates. You cannot say, get your colleagues on with.
That sounds completely wrong.
Because it is. The words stay together. Object always at the end.
And run into?
To meet someone by chance, you did not plan it, it just happens.
I ran into my old university friend at the supermarket last week, completely unexpected.
I always run into people I know when I look my worst.
Always, never when you're having a good day.
Never.
What about look after?
Look after is the next one, and I think most learners know this one already.
To take care of someone or something.
Can you look after my cat while I'm away? She looked after her mother for 2 years.
Same rule as get on with. It never separates. Look the cat after, completely wrong.
Look after the cat. Object at the end, always.
Now bring up, because this one surprised me. It has 2 very different meanings.
Which 2?
She was brought up by her grandparents. That means raised as a child.
Please do not bring up the salary question in the meeting. That means mention a topic.
Same words, 2 completely different situations. Context tells you which one.
And grow up, to develop from a child into an adult.
She grew up in a small village in the north.
Or the informal version, stop being childish and grow up.
I may have said that to someone recently.
I will not ask who.
Ask out, to invite someone on a romantic date.
He finally asked her out after working up the courage for 3 months.
3 months is a long time.
Some of us need time.
Break up, to end a romantic relationship.
They broke up after 3 years together. Nobody saw it coming.
And get over, to recover from something difficult. An illness, a loss, a breakup.
It took him months to get over it. He really loved her.
This one is inseparable too.
Get over it. You cannot separate it.
Get over it. The words stay together.
Right. Let us hear all 10 in one conversation. Two friends catching up over coffee. Ready?
Ready.
Did you hear about Marco and Sophia?
They broke up?
Last week. They fell out over something small and it just ended.
Poor Marco. He is not going to get over that easily.
No, he brought it up when I ran into him yesterday. He looked awful.
Who is looking after his dog while he sorts himself out?
His sister. She gets on with him really well. She'll keep him going.
Good. Do you think he will be okay?
He will. He just needs time. Between us, he asked her out 2 weeks after their first argument. It was too soon.
Ah, so they never really got over that first problem.
Exactly. And then everything else fell apart.
Well, he has good people around him. That matters more than anything.
It really does.
10 verbs. 2 rules to carry forward.
Look after and get on with, never separate. Object always at the end.
And get over, also inseparable. Get over it. Never get it over.
Those were relationship verbs. Now the ones you need at work. Managing tasks, deadlines, and colleagues. And almost every single one of these has a formal equivalent that most learners use instead.
What do you mean by formal equivalent?
Most learners say postpone instead of put off, cancel instead of call off, investigate instead of look into.
And both are correct, but one sounds like a real person and one sounds like a formal document.
Exactly. So let us start with put off.
The postpone one?
Yes, you put off something when you delay it. You move it to a later time.
We need to put off the launch until next month.
I keep putting off my dentist appointment. I have been doing it for 3 months.
3 months is nothing. I put mine off for 6.
And with a pronoun, put it off. The it goes in the middle, not put off it.
Now, call off, to cancel something that was already planned.
They called off the meeting because the manager was ill.
We called it off at the last minute. Everyone was already on their way.
The worst kind of call off when people are already traveling.
The absolute worst. Now, carry out, to actually do something, to complete a task or plan.
We need to carry out the survey before the deadline.
Police carried out a full investigation into the incident.
Most learners say conduct or perform, both correct, but carry out is what people actually say in conversation.
And find out?
To discover information you did not have before.
Did you find out when the results are coming?
I found out she had been working there for 10 years. I had no idea.
Now, look into, to examine something more carefully, to investigate.
I will look into the problem and get back to you by Friday.
Honestly, this is the one where the difference really matters.
What do you mean?
I will investigate the problem. That sounds like a written report. I will look into it. That sounds like a real colleague talking to you.
Completely different feeling.
Follow up next, to check on something after an initial contact.
I will follow up with an email after the meeting.
She followed up on the complaint but got no response for 2 weeks.
I always forget to follow up. I send the first email and then completely forget.
That is why things fall through.
Completely. Set up, to organize or arrange something, or to start a business.
Can you set up a meeting for Thursday afternoon?
He set up his own business after losing his job. It took off within a year.
Now, 2 that learners constantly mix up, hand in and hand out.
What is the difference?
Hand in is when you give your own work to someone who asked for it.
Please hand in your reports by Friday. Students hand in their essays at the end of term.
Hand out is when you distribute something to multiple people.
The teacher handed out the worksheets at the start of class.
Opposite directions. Hand in, something goes up to one person. Hand out, something spreads to many people.
Mix those two up and you will confuse everyone in the room.
Fill in or fill out, to complete a form. British English says fill in, American English says fill out.
Please fill in this form before you see the doctor.
Can you fill out the application tonight and send it back?
Same thing, different sides of the Atlantic.
And take on, to accept a new responsibility or challenge, or to hire someone.
She took on 3 new clients this month.
They are taking on 10 new staff members this quarter.
The danger with take on is taking on too much. She took on too much and burned out completely.
That is a real risk, and it happens faster than you think.
I know that feeling very well.
Right. 10 work verbs. Let us hear them in one conversation. 2 colleagues, end of the week, big deadline on Monday. Ready?
Ready. Did you find out if the client approved the proposal?
Not yet. I'm going to follow up with them this afternoon.
Good, because if they call it off, we need to look into other options very quickly.
They won't call it off, but let's set up a backup meeting just in case.
Good idea. Also, you need to hand in the expense forms by Friday.
I know. I haven't filled them in yet.
Me neither. I keep putting it off.
Right. We need to stop putting things off and actually carry out what's already on our list.
Fair point. We have taken on too much this month.
We have, but we'll get it done. We always do.
We do. Right. Let's go.
10 work verbs, and the real difference between them and their formal equivalents.
One sounds like a person, one sounds like a document.
Use the phrasal verb in conversation, every time.
And the 2 to watch, hand in and hand out, go in opposite directions. Never mix them up.
Work done. Now the verbs for conversations themselves. How ideas come up, how you get your point across, and how you figure things out together.
This group is different from the others, right?
Very different. These are the verbs for the conversation itself. Not what you talk about, but how you talk.
How ideas appear, how they get shared, how they get understood.
Exactly. Let us start with come up.
As in, something comes up in conversation?
Yes, a topic arises naturally. You did not plan to mention it, it just appeared.
The subject came up during lunch and suddenly we were all discussing it.
Something came up at work and I cannot make it tonight. The situation just appeared.
Nothing is physically coming anywhere. The topic or the situation simply arrives.
And come up with is completely different.
How?
Come up with means to think of an idea or a plan.
We need to come up with a solution by Friday.
He came up with a brilliant idea during the meeting. Nobody expected it.
This one never separates. 3 words, object always at the end. Come up with an idea, never come an idea up with.
That doesn't even sound like English.
Not even slightly.
What about figure out? Because I use that one constantly.
To understand something after thinking about it, to find a solution.
I can't figure out what's wrong with this computer.
Give me a minute, I'll figure it out.
With a pronoun, figure it out. The it goes in the middle. Never figure out it.
Figure it out, always in the middle.
What about go over?
To review something carefully, to go through it again.
Let's go over the plan one more time before we send it.
She went over every single line of the contract before signing.
I always go over things too many times. I can't stop myself.
That's called being thorough.
That's one word for it.
Teaching, point out, to draw attention to something someone may not have noticed.
She pointed out that we had missed the deadline on page 3.
I just wanted to point out that the figures do not add up.
Teaching, get across, to communicate something successfully, to make sure the other person actually understands.
It was hard to get my point across in the meeting. Nobody was listening.
She struggled to get across how serious the situation was.
I find it really hard to get my point across when I'm nervous.
Most people do. The words just disappear.
Talk over and think over. Similar but slightly different.
What's the difference?
Talk over means to discuss something thoroughly with someone else.
Let us talk it over before we make a final decision.
Think over means to consider something carefully on your own before deciding.
Take a few days to think it over. There's no rush.
With a pronoun, talk it over, think it over. Always in the middle.
Back up to support an argument or a person, or to make a copy of your data.
The evidence backs up everything she said in the meeting.
Make sure you back up your files before updating the system.
I learned that second one the hard way. Lost everything once.
Oh, that is the worst feeling.
Genuinely awful.
And come across to find something by chance or to make a particular impression on people.
I came across this article and immediately thought of you.
She comes across as very confident in meetings, very calm under pressure.
I want to come across like that. I usually come across as someone who forgot to prepare.
You always prepare. You just look like you did not.
That is somehow worse.
Right. 10 communication verbs. 2 to carry forward.
Come up with never separates. 3 words, object at the end, always.
And figure it out, back it up, talk it over, think it over, pronoun in the middle every time.
One group left, the emotional ones. The ones for the hard moments, the unexpected moments, and everything in between.
These are the ones that matter most in real conversations. When something goes wrong, when something goes right, when life just happens.
And native speakers reach for these automatically.
Every single time. Let us start with 2 that often go together.
Which 2?
Cheer up and calm down.
Cheer up, to feel happier, or to make someone feel happier.
Cheer up. It is not the end of the world.
She brought me flowers to cheer me up. It actually worked.
With a pronoun, cheer me up. The me goes in the middle. Never cheer up me.
Calm down, to become less upset or excited, or to help someone become calmer.
Just calm down. Take a breath. It is not as bad as you think.
I tried to calm him down, but he was too angry to listen.
I am terrible at calming down when something goes wrong.
I'm actually very calm. I'm the one who needs to calm down.
That is true. You really do.
Give up, to stop trying, to quit a habit, or to surrender completely.
Do not give up. You are so close to finishing.
She gave up smoking 3 years ago and never looked back.
He gave up on the relationship after months of trying. He just had nothing left.
All 3 meanings carry the same emotional weight, stopping something that took effort.
You feel it when someone says, give up. It's never a small thing.
Break down is next, and that one has 3 completely different meanings.
It does. The car broke down on the motorway. The machine stopped working.
She broke down when she heard the news. She started crying.
Let me break it down for you. I will explain it in simpler parts.
3 completely different situations, all the same 2 words.
Context tells you every time which one you're hearing.
Let down, to disappoint someone who trusted you or had expectations of you.
He really let me down when he canceled at the last minute.
I don't want to let the team down, not after everything we've built together.
With a pronoun, let me down, let them down, always in the middle.
Being let down by someone you trusted is one of the worst feelings.
It really is. It takes a long time to get over.
Now, look forward to, and this one has a trap inside it.
What trap?
It's always followed by ing, never by the infinitive.
I am really looking forward to seeing you next week.
Not, I am looking forward to see you. That is wrong.
The to in look forward to is a preposition, not the start of an infinitive, so it always needs ing after it.
Look forward to seeing. Look forward to hearing. Look forward to meeting.
End up has the same trap.
Same rule?
Always followed by ing. We ended up taking a taxi because we missed the last train.
Not, we ended up to take a taxi. That is wrong.
He never planned to be a teacher. He just ended up doing it and loved it.
I ended up here completely by accident. Best accident of my life.
That is a lovely thing to say.
Turn out. For something to develop in a way that was not expected.
It turned out to be a much better day than we expected.
The plan turned out perfectly. Nobody could believe it.
Honestly, things rarely turn out the way you planned, but sometimes they turn out even better.
Sometimes better, sometimes completely different. Either way, you adapt.
Go through, to experience something difficult or to examine something carefully.
She went through a really hard few months last year. Nobody knew how bad it was.
Let me go through the report before we send it. Just give me 10 minutes.
Going through something hard makes you realize who is actually there for you.
It really does.
And the last one, get away with. To do something wrong and not be caught or punished for it.
He has been getting away with it for years. Nobody noticed until now.
She thought she could get away with not preparing. She was wrong.
3 words, object always at the end. Get away with it. Never separate it.
Get away with everything. Get away with nothing. Always 3 words together. Right, 10 emotional verbs. Let's hear them in one conversation. 2 close friends. One has had a very hard few months. Things are finally turning around. Ready?
Ready.
How are you actually doing? And I mean actually.
Better. I went through a really hard few months. I will not pretend otherwise.
I know. I was worried you were going to give up on everything.
I almost did. There were days when I completely broke down, days when I could not get out of bed.
But you did not give up.
No, I did not.
And how did it turn out?
Smiling. Better than I expected. Much better, actually.
Relieved. I am so glad. You went through so much.
What kept me going was knowing the people around me would not let me down.
Never. Not for a second.
I have something new starting in September. I'm actually looking forward to it.
That is everything. Cheer up. You made it through.
I did. I cannot believe I ended up here. I thought I would be stuck forever.
And instead, you're sitting here planning the next thing.
And getting away with calling it a comeback.
The best kind of getting away with something. 10 verbs. 2 traps to remember from this group.
Look forward to seeing, never see. End up taking, never to take.
The to in look forward to is a preposition. Always needs ing after it.
And get away with, 3 words, object always at the end, never separate it.
5 groups done, 50 verbs. Before we wrap up, now it's time to bring everything together.
One thing to remember about all of them.
A phrasal verb is not 2 words. It is one idea. Treat it as a single new word, and you will start using it.
3 rules to carry forward from today.
First, small words like it, them, her, him always go in the middle of separable verbs.
Turn it off, pick her up, figure it out. Never at the end.
Second, look forward to seeing. End up doing. The to in look forward to is a preposition. Always needs ing after it.
I am looking forward to seeing you. We ended up taking the bus.
Third, 3-word verbs never separate. Come up with an idea. Get away with it. Run out of time. Object always at the end. Now it is your turn.
Write 1 sentence in the comments using any phrasal verb from today.
For example, I always put off replying to emails.
Or, we ran out of coffee this morning and it ruined my day.
Or, I ended up taking the bus and actually enjoyed it.
Any verb, any sentence. Just write it.
And if you want to keep going, we have a full episode on phrasal verbs with get specifically.
Get up, get over, get on with, get away with. All of them in one episode with full conversations and examples.
The link is right there.
Subscribe so you never miss an episode.
See you in the next one.
See you then!